Joe Gomez versus Jarell Quansah. I think one of them should leave Liverpool in the summer. Which one should it be? Now then, welcome back to the George Scaife channel. Hope you're all doing well. I want to talk about these two players. A very interesting comparison discussion I think can be had with these two players. Obviously both English, both centre-backs. There's a lot of obvious comparisons to be made. But I think there are further comparisons that can be made in regards to the attributes these two have, the effect they've had on the squad, not just this year, but over the last 2 or 3 years, their future in the squad. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what you think. Get involved in the community down there, and if you're new around here, leave a subscribe. That's a new one. Be subscribed, what I meant, to the channel. We start with mistakes. I think errors. We've got to start there, because as a centre back, you know what I mean. You can afford to make a mistake. As a forward, you forget about it. Centre half makes a mistake, you're punished, and the team's punished, not just the player, but it is a thing that's passed around the entire club, right? Because how many times has Quansah passed the ball to the opposition and they've scored? How many times has Gomez not marked his player and they've scored? And we've lost games because of them two players. And that's a fact. It is a fact. It's not an opinion. These two, over the last 3-4 years, have cost us goals combined. As of Van Dijk, by the way. As of Konate. Konate against Wolves springs to mind. Trying to shield the ball out. Gets caught out. Players make mistakes. But I think in terms of, on a consistent level, Quansah, I like the guy. I like him as a bloke. He seems like a nice guy, quite quiet, and he seems like a nice enough guy. But this is not a personal thing. This is not a dig. This is calling out for what it is, and he's made far too many mistakes in a Liverpool shirt this season. I don't think that's been particularly harsh. I think it's been obvious. I think it's exactly saying what I've been saying this year. How many mistakes can you make, or how many times can you make mistakes before you get binned off? And I think we're at that kind of point now where people are going, well done. That's a lot of mistakes. You're either the most unlucky player of all time, or you just aren't particularly reliable. And I'm starting to lean towards more the latter. It's like he played the other day. Was it Brighton? He played literally the other day and I've forgotten. I'm so caught up with all the celebrations, I feel like I've just disregarded the last season entirely. But there were 2 mistakes he made. There was one mistake, certainly. It was like, why is he there? He just stood there and the ball's come off someone and gone in. He always seems to be around these mistakes. The West Ham one as well. It's like, it was so avoidable, but I'm not seeing Van Dijk in them places. I'm not seeing, on the whole, Konate in them places. But Quansah tends to be there. And I think Joe Gomez was a culprit for that as well. I remember we played Real Madrid. It was like the most embarrassing. It was one of the worst halves of football ever. And Gomez cost us a couple goals that day. And he had an awful performance. But them mistakes have kind of been forgotten about. One, because he's not been fit really since then. Like, he's been consistently in and out of the team. That's a big issue we'll come into in a bit in terms of availability between these two players and compare that. But these two have always had errors between them. And Liverpool have won the league. You've got to build when you're at the top. And so many teams get caught out and don't do that. And I think we need to be ambitious. As a third choice centre-back, I don't think Quansah and Gomez are maybe not good enough, but reliable enough. I don't trust these two players anymore. And if you think I'm being harsh this video, fine, whatever. But I really think it needs to be kind of called out for what it is. And I don't think just because we won the league, you can not criticise players. Because you absolutely can. If you can't criticise players now, when can you? Why would you be nice? Like, just because Quansah's a young player, he's 22, he's been here a while, doesn't mean you have to ignore all the mistakes, because it's happening, it's real, it's contributing to it will contribute to the season. And over the season, it will be significantly, you'll be found out. And I think he has been at times this year. I think that's a weird thing with players and clubs. When you've got a young player who's your fans tend to like, and he's a nice guy like Quansah is, and people perhaps hide and put under the carpet these mistakes just because he's a young player. They go, well, he's got future, he's got potential, we'll keep him on because he's... I get all that, but we're top of the league here. We're not a team who are 7th, and we're not filtering in a third choice centre-half every other game just to give him a game because we can. We need our best players on the pitch. And if everyone's available, Quansah does not start, Gomez does not even nearly start, I want a third choice in there. I've just my dream summer transfer window, and I wanted either Hincapié or a Zabani or a Diomande to come in and challenge, not just take that third slot by it's fine. Challenge for the second slot. Partner Van Dijk, go and partner Van Dijk. Show some ambition and go and get in that side. Gomez hasn't done that, and Quansah certainly hasn't. I mean, it's nothing more telling than the Ipswich game, the first game of the season. He gets brought off at half time. It's like, I feel like Slot has never really clicked with Quansah particularly. And maybe this is harsh to say. I almost don't blame him because I don't think he set the world alight. Don't get me wrong, by the way, this has been quite a negative video so far. At times, I've been very impressed by Quansah and how he's handled coming in next to Van Dijk. And that's another point, actually. Could I play next to Van Dijk and be good? That's another point which is probably worth discussing in the comments. I'm impressed by how Quansah's come in at times. I thought when he played next to Konate, it was awful. On the whole, I think that does highlight how good Van Dijk's been. But I'm impressed by Quansah's maturity. That's one thing. The errors have to be stamped out of his game. If he's going to be any sort of reliable, consistent centre-half for us, you can't be making that magnitude of errors. Not magnitude, those... It's not even about how bad they were, it's the timing of them. That's the worst. It's like, they can't keep happening. As I say, you're either the most unlucky player of all time, or you just aren't playing very well. And I'm starting to not believe the first one anymore, and feel sorry for him. In terms of Gomez, I would keep... The whole point of this video is who would you sell, who would you keep? I'd keep one of them, homegrown player, keep one in the squad, and that for me is Joe Gomez. I assume he's on more wages. I mean, he must be, right? I don't know the numbers by hand. But at the flip side of that, you're paying for the flexibility. Yeah, can you be flexible if you're injured all the time? If you can stay fit, Gomez, I think he offers more in the long run than Quansah in terms of the squad. Neither of them are going to start. We're not talking about here who's the best player. I don't think there's much between them, I'll be honest with you. But Gomez has proven he can play as a left back, centre back, right back, even midfield at one point. I mean, that didn't work. I guess Quansah proved he could play as a right back in that cup final, but he didn't prove anything to me really. He was steady. He was one of our better players that day, but no one said the word I like. It was like everyone was poor. He's a centre back, Quansah. He's not fast enough to be a full back in my opinion. I don't think he's good enough on the ball to be a full back in my opinion. He's not really filled in at left back, so we've not really seen that. But Gomez has proven that. I also think a big aspect of keeping Gomez as opposed to Quansah is not just that flexibility, it's the seniority. It's quite a young squad. Like, it really is. And Salah's getting no younger, and these players, Alisson as well. These ain't got long left. Van Dijk, 2 years like max, these players, right? Maybe 3. They're going to get a point where Gomez and Robertson will be our oldest players. And I think we need to keep Gomez in the squad for that reason. If we bin Gomez off, that's another mid-20s player, all that experience gone. And it's quite a young side. Gomez has been there for it all of Klopp tenure. He's won Champions League, Premier League. Not many of them have. And that breed of, that Klopp side, that 11, your Fabinho's and Wijnaldum Henderson's, they've all gone. And it's like, Trent, gone. Another one's just gone. And they're slowly just creeping away. Salah will be next. Robertson will be next. Then Alisson. Then there's none left. So Gomez, I think, stays for that reason. Future captain, I think Gomez. I do disagree with that in the sense he's not good enough to play. Like, your captain has to play. And I don't think Gomez will ever be good enough, to be honest. Is that harsh to say that he would never start? I don't think Gomez would start over Quansah this next year or the year after, or probably the year after. I mean, in terms of the trend, Konate, is younger, he's quicker, I think he's better on the ball, I think he's more consistent. And I don't think Konate, I'm getting these all mixed up. I don't think Konate is, what's it called, like slander-free, or, you know what I mean? I don't think he's had the best of seasons, Konate. And I'm seeing some people put him in like an underrated team of the season. I don't think it's that at all. I think he's had one of his weaker seasons. I think Van Dijk's one of his better seasons, that's why it's kind of evened out. But Konate, has made a few mistakes this year. So he's not without his pulling him up on that as well. But in particular, Quansah and Gomez, a lot of comparisons. As I said, they're both English. I think you've got to lose one to balance the kind of homegrown quota. And I think that is Quansah. In terms of fees, I think you get more for Quansah than Gomez. I do think that there were links to Newcastle from Gomez as well. You're not getting anywhere near £30 million I've seen valued. I've seen £50 million valued for Quansah, which I think is a royal joke, by the way. Absolutely, I do not think he will go for £50 million. I think 30 would be a stretch. I'd take 25. I'd understand 20, is where I'm at with Quansah right now. And obviously, we've adopted this very expensive spending habit. We need to sell players to fund this. It's not just monopoly money. It's not just going on trees because we won the Premier League. We can now spend 150. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. We need to balance this out. But Quansah, I think, is more likely, for me, the one to leave. I would, with a heavy heart, say, thanks for your service, but I'd keep Gomez for them reasons I listed. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm really interested to hear that. Join the community down below and subscribe. And leave a like if you enjoyed these new talking videos. I'm really trying to work on it. Obviously, I'm getting my words muddled up at one point because I've never done it like filming in one take. So I'll get better, I promise. Only one way to learn it now. Start on the job. Cheers.